Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Pierre, and for all the new people out there, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the content. If you do, please like and subscribe. It helps me out, it helps the algorithm out, and I think that's what I'm supposed to be asking for. But as you guys can see, I'm in the car. I'm on my way to an appointment. Very excited for that. I've been lucky enough that during these times, I've still been able to get in front of a few of my customers, and I take every advantage and opportunity available because the position that I am in is building the awareness of a certain disease state. And the only way that I can do that is by getting in front of my customers. So one of the questions that I was being asked is, how are you getting in front of your customers? Because everybody that I'm aware of is almost in this exact same situation. There's a lot of companies out there that aren't necessarily essential positions, so it's making it very hard for us to get appointments. And so I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what I am doing to kind of battle that situation. So the first thing that I do is make sure that I know the account that I am calling, try to figure out any information that I can of the people that are working there. I check LinkedIn, I'll get on Google, do a search, different things like that, just to try and make that call a little bit warmer. But whenever I give them a call, one of the first things that I ask is, how are you doing? How are things going on at your office? Has everyone been okay? And it kind of opens the door a little bit, at least in my experience, it's opened the door more so than just calling and letting them know who I am. Luckily for me, I just got several new territories added to me, and it allows me to call onto these offices via the phone, not in person yet, and check and see what their interest is on actual, in-person, face-to-face, or I guess mask-to-mask conversations, and it allows me to see if they're open to that. Some offices are, some offices aren't, and what I'm doing is essentially making a list of my offices that are open to me coming in still and doing a presentation, and making a note on the offices that aren't to make sure to come back to them, maybe once a month or once every 3 weeks, and check in again to see if their policy has changed. For the offices that aren't allowing anybody in, I again express to them who I am, why I'm calling, and why I believe that I should be pushed along to somebody else. Hopefully a physician, if not a physician, a nurse practitioner, a nurse navigator. It really just kind of depends on how large the office is. It could be a tech. It really just depends on the office and who you're calling on. But try and think of any position that you could have a conversation with that could help lead you to the next person. So if the physician isn't available, that's what I'm asking for. I'm going, hey, is his nurse available? Is the nurse practitioner available? Is the nurse navigator available? Just anybody. And hopefully they can find someone within that time that you're calling to just jump on the phone with you for a few minutes. If nobody's available to talk to, then I'm going 2 more routes. I'm going to ask if there's a generic email, whether it be the nurse's generic email, or for patient questions, or even the physician's email if possible. I'm going to get that. And the last thing that I'm going to ask is it possible for me to drop off some information? Because some offices are still allowing you to drop information off so that the physicians can see it. Some offices aren't. So I'm putting all of these things into my note for that account and hoping that I can kind of figure out a strategy for every single account on how I can get my information out there so that they understand this disease state, and if they have any questions, they know who to ask. So I just finished up an impromptu meeting, and I wanted to give you guys another little nugget on how to hopefully break down some barriers. from my experience and working with other people and asking how things are going, I know a lot of reps out there feel like they have accomplished something just because they drove to an account, got out of the car, went into the building, and spoke with a receptionist. And the receptionist said, hey, nobody's available right now, but you can leave your information with me. And then they do so and walk out and think that they did a fantastic job. Maybe not fantastic, but they at least believe that they did something to help move their business forward. And I want to say that that's not helping you whatsoever. You need to make sure that when you're going to these offices and you don't have a meeting, that you are letting them know that you have time, that you can wait, even if it's 5, 10, 15 minutes, to speak with somebody that's actually relevant to what you are trying to do. Because if you're just dropping off information at a receptionist, you're going to be, very, very lucky if you get any kind of response back from anybody in regards to what it is you are trying to accomplish. So make sure that you are asking questions, willing to wait, and really just pushing the fact that, hey, I'm here for the patients, and I want to make sure that somebody that can use this information hears me out. Because if you're just dropping off information for anybody to see, then you're not doing your company a service, you're not doing the patients that you're trying to get your treatment available for a service. You're just out there, kind of wasting your time and everybody else's time. So I made my luck today, and that's because I was willing to wait for somebody to come out that actually had some sort of medical background. After speaking with the receptionist, I didn't take no for an answer. I said, hey, listen, I've got some time. This is some information that I know is very relevant to your doctor. Please just if I could speak with his nurse or with a physician assistant, that would be wonderful, so I can at least make sure that the message is getting across. And they were like, okay, well, we'll see what we can do. About 5 minutes later, a nurse came out. I spoke with them, and it was a good conversation. She didn't necessarily know the type of patient that I was talking about, so I asked if there was anybody else that could potentially have an answer for me. They said yes, and that they would be back to see if somebody could come talk to me. After waiting maybe 5-10 more minutes, a pharmacist came out and had a discussion with me, and that was fantastic because they are not the patient, they are the person that is going to see the patient and prescribe them a drug that is an indicator for what I'm trying to get them to understand is the next best option. So I was able to figure out how many patients they see that get a certain drug and have a conversation with that pharmacist and find out that they would really be the one that kind of guides the physician that I wanted to see in this direction. So it was a great conversation. I was able to detail them on a couple of different pieces, and it was just, an all-around great conversation, and I can walk out of this office knowing that I actually did something to move my business forward. So just, rule of thumb, if you're just dropping something off, you might as well not even go. Make sure that you are trying to do what you can to get in front of somebody so that you can get your message delivered. Sorry about that, guys. On top of that great conversation, this visit was a gold mine for me. And the reason I say that is because I got extremely lucky when I asked, is there any way that I can get on the schedule for a lunch? And the receptionist came back with a paper calendar, or I guess planner, and just handed it to me and said, when you're done, just bring it back. So I was able to go through the entire year for 2021, throw myself into 4 lunch opportunities with the office, so once a quarter. And I was also able to look at who's coming in, how frequently they're coming in, other people that work with the company that I work for in different divisions so that I could potentially do something with them. And it was great. So that goes to show another example of being relentless. Just because you got to speak with somebody, now ask another question. Hey, Can I do a lunch? How do you guys do lunches? Do you use RX Vantage, or do you do it the way that they do it, which is very archaic, but it works out, I guess, extremely well for me, because there aren't people out there that are working very hard. So I'm able to beat those people by asking simple questions and getting on that paper calendar before they even knew that there was a paper calendar. So that's another bit of advice. Now for the last bit of advice, for offices that aren't allowing you to even come and drop something off. I've got a ton of those. They don't even want to take any chances. So they're like, no, don't even come to drop something off. We're not allowing that. We're only dealing with patients. This is not, don't let that person over there distract you. Focus, okay? This is not your excuse to say, okay, well, I guess I can't really do anything because I can't go to the office. Nobody wants to talk to me on the phone. So I guess I'm kind of done until this changes. Don't sleep. You need to get with your manager or figure out who you would need to get the approval for to start sending out the information that you have via mail. And while that's super archaic, at least that gives you another reason to give that office a call maybe a week or two later and ask if the physician has had a chance to take a look at what you sent in the mail. So I'm just trying to give you guys more options that you're possibly not thinking about, because we're in a very strange situation right now, and you got to be creative to be successful. So I hope you guys enjoyed some of that information. If you did, like the video, subscribe, share it, do what you got to do. And until the next one, guys, I'm out.